Hi guys, welcome back to a new video. Today we've got the Jessica Jones Champion Spotlight, sort of breakdown of what she does and how to play her. So this is a champ that will be, I believe so far, all we know is that she'll be in the crystal that is replacing the Greater Gifting crystal. There'll be a small chance of getting her, so there's likelihood that not many of us will see her, but she does still look like a pretty good champ. Going in the basics, she's a science champ. Investigation is sort of the main aspect of her kit. The max 10 stacks of investigation, you get an investigation for the opponent throwing a special attack gives you one. When they gain a bar of power also gives you one. And they allow her to get her to her strength. So for example, as you can see there, 5 investigations allow her to go in unstoppable. This means that she takes a lot less take reduced damage. You can also see that while her investigations are active, she can get a lot of buff. So every special attack that's thrown on her and she throws, she gets 1 weakness. And then on screen now you can see where she gets her investigation. So as I said, she gains 1 when her opponent is inflicted with a non-stun debuff, so a weakness, a bleed, an incinerate, things like that. She loses 2 if they have a cleanse or a purify. But as you can see, there are many ways to play her and different things she has. So every time that you throw a heavy attack, all non-stun debuffs are paused. That's perfect. Allows the sort of things like incinerate and rupture that she has in her kit to last a bit longer. If an opponent activates a special attack, the opponent gets a 2% weakness debuff for every investigation that she has. If she's got 5+ debuff, she goes unstoppable. If she's got 10+, she goes unstoppable throughout the whole fight. Once the main part of her kit really is those investigations. As I've said, you can see on screen previously how she gains those. If she hits 10, then it's 10 for the rest of the fight. She's a bit of a build-up champ, so every fight that she goes through, she gains a bit of knowledge on her next opponent of the same class. So if she defeats a tech champ, the next tech champ will be a lot easier. This is the interesting part of Jessica Jones, and what I want to see in action is her SP3 and throws an object, or her SP1 throws an object, pardon. And different objects have different correlating thing. For example, pizza gives her regeneration. The kitchen sink gives loads of 6 debuff, weakness debuffs. Whatever it is, and this is very RNG, but whatever it is will change how the rest of the fight goes. Her signature ability is a bit of a different one. Every bar of power, she gains 25% combat power rate, as you can see. Basically making her quite an effective defender. She has a few synergies with obviously people you would expect, Luke Cage and Iron Fist, Daredevil. However, none to sort of write home about until we see her in action. Obviously, some may be a lot more effective than others. However, as you can see, they're punching purple people, and there's somebody coming soon. Is that Purple Man, or could it be the High Evolutionary? I don't know. We'll see and move on to Mantis now. So in my opinion, Mantis looks like an incredible champ, and I feel like she will be one that everyone wants. This section is going to be a little bit longer because I know she's a champ that is going to be a bit more readily available to everybody. So Mantis, sort of her key thing, which is really interesting, is she sort of goes off of infuriates and intimidate buffs. So if they have a infuriate, they play more aggressive. It's basically like a taunt. They throw more special attacks. And if they have an intimidate, she makes sort of plays with their emotions. That's the sort of key, and they are a lot more defensive and take more time. As you can see from that, she's not a great defender. Her survivability isn't great. She's probably, as it says in the description, she is quite a glass cannon. So much damage, however, it really can let her down in sort of the health section. And, I heavily wouldn't, she's not even in the game yet, but having not seen that, I wouldn't stick her on defense in Battlegrounds. So how does she work? As I said with the Infuriates and the Intimidates, both of those have 2 different effects. You do this by either hitting her block or intercepting, depending on which one you want. It's a really different and strange way of seeing how a champion works. It's a lot more sort of controllable. You get to choose how you want the opponent to play. It really plays into that sort of her taking control of the fight, her being the one in control. So she has a lot of damage, and you build up your mixed emotions, which have a max of 20, which we will get to in a second. What are her strengths? Her main strengths are, as I said, she does a lot of damage, and this depends on the emotional state of her opponent. She can build up her mixed sort of main resource, as it says there, mixed emotions. They're also incredibly powerful on their own, Infuriate and Intimidate. They're both very useful and can be really effective. She's also got this new sort of, I guess, trait or effect, Tranquilize. It's very similar to a stun, or a neutralize, sorry. It reduces the ability accuracy of debuffs, so they last a little bit longer and they do less damage. So that is a way of sort of reducing damage and debuffs on you. However, as I've said, her weaknesses are she almost has no defenses, she's very weak, she's not very strong, and you have a lot of control, but each Infuriate and Intimidate only lasts for about a second, if not kept up, so you keep them up by dashing back and holding the block. But once you haven't got those, it can be a lot more tricky, as we've said, she's not much of a defensive champion, so if you get hit a few times, or if you get hit by one big special attack, you know the game's done, you're out. So the Tranquilize is from sort of standing still, so she will inflict 25% potency on all champs, but 100% against science champions. That means she's really strong, almost 4 times as strong as she is against normal champions, against science champs. This is the effect that lasts 1 second, sorry, not the Infuriate or the Intimidate. She can toggle her ability to stand. You just double hold block, sort of similar to how you charge Recon on Falcon. And then you gain your one mixed emotion by if the opponent is unable to generate a buff or a debuff due to Mantis' Tranquilize. So you can get a max of 20 mixed emotions, as we said. Dashing back and landing the first, second, or third light attack inflict an Infuriate debuff. That makes the opponent more aggressive, and then intercepting them gives them more Infuriate debuff, so that gives 2 indefinite mixed emotion passives. It's a lot of the way to play seems a very much of a medium light and 4 lights instead of a medium light medium. And that is how you land the Intimidate. And then once this Intimidate's on, if you hit the block, that's how they gain a mixed emotion. So that's an easy way of building up the mixed emotion passives. And then these mixed emotions are consumed when charging a heavy attack, causing a sleep passive. This is very similar to a stun. Obviously causes the opponent to basically sleep or /stun, and can be really effective. But however, will not be activated if she's playing defense, as in Battlegrounds, or if there aren't any mixed emotion. And then while she's charging her heavy attack, that builds up a large amount of Furies, but those Furies hit 10. So the best way to sort of play her, and the way that you would have seen in the deep dive of Mantis, is build up those mixed emotions, charge a heavy attack while they're sleeping, and then hit them with the SP2 just before the second hit of the heavy attack, and you can do an absolute mass of damage. If you go and watch the deep dive, which is on the Marvel Contest of Champions channel, you'll see how much damage. It's like 60. They're guaranteed critical hits. That is something also to note. If you charge up that heavy attack and then interrupt that heavy attack's second hit with SP2, that does so much damage, but it's also guaranteed hits. That's why it does such a large amount of damage, as you can see there. If it's interrupted, it does a ton of damage. And then sort of all her signature ability just allows those Tranquilize effects to be 100% from the 25% against all classes rather than just the science champs. So that's the Mantis and Jessica Jones. So this one was a bit longer in Mantis because of how much more sort of desirable and how good she looks. And obviously the Jessica Jones ones was a little bit shorter, but I do hope you enjoyed this video. A bit different to what we've got on the channel. If you've enjoyed it, please give me a comment. If you know what I could do better, also let me know. That'd be massively appreciated. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.